Hey, I was talking a little bit ago about the stainless steel flex line that I got from Bora Parts. At first glance, after I installed this thing, I don't know if I'm going to be very impressed with it. To start off with, one of the first hiccups I ran into is it comes with a couple different fittings that go on top of the turbocharger. Now, this is a new Borg Warner turbocharger that I'm installing. Alright, and on top of the turbo where this line mounts, there's a fitting bolted to the turbocharger that's designed to go to the factory hard line. That fitting has to be removed, and there's a new fitting that comes with the flex line that's installed in its place. Okay, so that way that the flex line will bolt up to the turbocharger, and that's all well and fine. The new fittings that go in here are it's a Chinese part. Okay, so I right there, right off the bat, I don't know if I'm impressed with that. Now, with the factory oil line, it's actually a hard steel line, and it's actually right here. Now, granted, this thing is it's actually bent into some weird concoction of a shape, and I bent it up even more trying to get it out. You don't have to do that. You can take it out without bending it up. I was just knew I wasn't going to reuse it. But anyway, this is where it goes to the oil filter, right next to the oil filter. Okay, a little banjo bolt that goes through here, and then on this side, this is where it bolts up to the turbocharger. And there's it's a bubble flare, okay, on the end of this line that seals it to the turbocharger. Well, the new flex line doesn't use the same fitting. Okay, it uses something else. It uses actually it looks like a 45-degree flare fitting. But this is what normally comes on the turbocharger, or what you're normally going to bolt your factory line to. This had to be removed, which is actually I want to say it's a 6mm Allen wrench in the middle. Okay, to get this thing out. Put your new fitting in, and then roll with that. There's also a new fitting that goes. There's a new fitting that goes right here. Okay, again, this is a little cheap Chinese fitting that comes with this thing. I don't like that. All right, the factory, what they're using is a banjo bolt, okay, with copper crush washers right here to attach the factory steel line, which I feel is a much better option. But it is what it is. Now, here's another problem I see with this flex line. Okay, this thing is pretty long. I don't like doing this, and I'm doing this against my better judgment, but trying to find something to attach this flex line to. There's actually so much extra length in here. See, I'm driving a 5-speed car. All these linkages and everything in here move when you go to shift the car. Okay, all this crap moves. If you don't tie this steel line out of the way, it lays right in this area. Okay, and I see that becoming an interference problem shifting gears. Okay, whether it gets in the way of me shifting gears, or eventually these parts rubbing on this plastic that's coated on this thing wears the plastic out, and then wears my braided line out. The other problem I see is that is a plastic coated steel braided line. Alright, that's a plastic coated line. There's the exhaust manifold. Okay, see how close this is? I don't know how that's going to work. Everything else in here that Volkswagen puts together is shielded. Okay, all these are the shifter cables. Those are shielded. The firewall's shielded from heat. Okay, the coolant lines that run back there, this is actually just pulled up out of the way right now. Those are all shielded. I don't like the fact that that's a plastic coated, steel braided line right next to the hot exhaust manifold. That plastic's going to melt, and the steel line is probably going to be fine, but you know, it's just an issue. It's just gonna. I got a feeling it's gonna melt the plastic off that line. So, in hindsight, I would rather just get a new factory steel line to replace this thing with, instead of this flexible braided line. And I haven't even started the car yet. I don't even know how well it works, or if it leaks or anything. But those are just a couple problems I see with it. But especially since it's the same money. I think the factory steel line is $80 or $90. And the stainless line, I think, was like $80. So I would probably just stick with the factory steel line instead of this this thing.